Hi, welcome back. Come on in. If you're new here, come on in. You get to pick coffee or tea or hot cocoa. I'm in my sewing room, so you have to drink it over there because I don't want to spill it over on any of this. But I have fresh blueberry muffins and blueberries from my garden. I only have about a quart or a quart and a half left in my freezer. I didn't have a great harvest this year, but oh, they're so good. Small but mighty. So the blueberry muffins are still warm and they're a little bit brown and crusty on the top. Ooh, they're so good. So there's enough for all of us. So come on in. We'll have some muffins and let's talk about some cross stitch. That'll be a good thing. It's freezing out there today. It's 21, well, freezing for me because I live near Seattle, Washington, and it's 21 degrees. What is that? Celsius. I think that's -5 or -6. Yeah, -6. Anyway, it's really chilly and we got snow. We don't always get snow. We hardly ever. And so we have 10 inches and Mr. Wright's away on a business trip. So before he left, he shoveled the sidewalk and the driveway and he shoveled a path for the dog to use the outdoor grass, and then he shoveled a pathway to my chicken coop, and he shoveled a pathway to the shed where I keep all the chicken food and snacks, and then a path back to the house. So actually, it's pretty nice for me. I wear boots and hat and scarf and gloves and mittens and a coat, and there's a lot of gear you have to wear in the formal entrance way. We have this really pretty chair, and it's just piled with coats and scarves and hats, and I guess it's just the season. So anyway, let's talk stitching. So first of all, before I start talking about my things, I have two things people wrote to me and asked about. Okay, so the first one was about the Polish pottery. Thanks a lot for all the great comments. I was a little bit nervous about talking about it because it's not stitching or anything, but everybody was really interested in it, and it was really fun to answer all the questions. So the one question, which I guess I should have done, she was asking for the maker's mark on the back. So I told her that I would, on my next video, let's see, that is what it looks like. There you go. So you can see it. And then when you go to find your Polish pottery at different stores, you'll know that that's what a real piece of Polish pottery. So this one is really pretty. It has flowers and leaves and that peacock eye. And in the center, ooh, I love this. It's so pretty. Okay, I'll put that down. It could be dangerous if I'm yakking and holding a piece of pottery. Okay, and the other question is a mystery, and I thought you might like to join me. All right, so first of all, I showed this, I think, on my first video. And a lady wrote to me, a gal, asking if I knew the name of this pattern. So I'm holding it up because I'm asking you to help me. I'm going to ask the people on Floss Tube first, and then I might put it on Stitch Mania, and I've tried several different places online. Okay, so this is I'll hold it up a little closer. This is a sampler, but all of the patterns that this designer did, whoops, over here on this side, had this little tiny pale gray rabbit, little tiny bunny stitched on each of her pieces. So I thought that might be a clue. I made this in 1995, so I'm kind of hoping that somebody has the pattern, maybe they still have the pattern. I don't know. Maybe they memorized the name. Maybe they wrote it on the back of their stitchery or put it in their journal. But if you could please help us out and comment below if you know the name of the designer or the pattern or any kind of like hints or suggestions. And then maybe we can help her out, and she wants to make this sampler, so we could be in on the helping her out find it mystery. So okay, thanks. Okay, I have a list today, so I could kind of keep things straight. First of all, thank you so much for all the kind comments, and I really try not to just write, thank you, happy stitching. I really try. The whole point of this, the whole point of me trying to do a floss tube was so that I could meet new people and make new friends. Oh, I made a friend in England, and so we talked, and then email, and so that's pretty neat. I'm pretty lucky. Hi, Angela. I can't believe it. That's pretty neat for me. So we're gonna write back and forth, and anyway, so yeah, I've met lots of great people, and everyone's been so nice and great comments. And one of the nicest things about this community is if you don't like my stitching or my quilting or whatever, you don't say anything. You're just really polite and nice and move along. And everybody else has been so friendly and complimentary, and you get all hot and blushing, and so thank you very, very much. I appreciate you coming back, and if you're new, stick around. It might be kind of fun. You might find something you like. I don't know. Okay, first of all, I wanted to do a little bit of show and tell. So this piece was made in 2005. And let me see if I can bring it up here so you can see it. I love that border. I know it's just over and over but repetitive, but it turned out really neat. This was one of the first times I ever used the fancy floss. You can see that it's over dyed and the letters are a little bit different. It says that I finished this June 14th, 2005. I believe the 2005. I don't necessarily believe the June 14th, because that is my oldest son's birthday. So here I am sticking in his birthday so that maybe he'll pick this one instead of sending it off to Goodwill or the yard sale. So it had a little heart on it, so I thought, oh, I better take that one down off my sampler wall and show it for Valentine's Day. So that's a good one. I love that border. It's just so beautiful. It's just really, and you get in that rhythm of sewing, and it's just so calm, and it's just over. It's really lovely. It's a lovely pattern. Again, I do not know what the name of it is or the name of the designer. This was back in the day when I didn't save any of that stuff, so hopefully I'll get better at that. Okay, my other show and tell is I have this in this little bowl. It has a glass cloche, but I took it off. There's no way I could maneuver that and you and the camera, and I couldn't do it. So anyway, it has this lovely glass dome. Just imagine it. And I have it by my front door on a big table. So, okay, so one of the things that's in here, oh, it says 2005. That's like the last one. I must have done a lot of stitching that year. All right, so this one, let me put a piece of white paper behind it. You can tell that it's a piece of pink fabric. It looks like 28 count. And I stitched the whole thing. And it was in my sewing basket. I fully finished this last year. But I stitched the whole thing, except the letter Y. It was missing like 3 or 4 stitches. What happened? What happened? Did the phone ring and I put it down and I never came back to it? Or why was there 4 stitches? And the thread was still attached. It was so odd. So I sat down and for 30 seconds and stitched 4 X's and finished it. I don't really know what happened, but anyway, again, it says practice kindness every day. It says 2005. I have my initial there. It has a little charm in the middle of that heart right there. Oh, in the middle of the heart right there. That's sort of fun. And then I added the heart, and I finished it with red plaid fabric. And I wonder why we do that. That when you go back to finish something, sometimes it's just seconds or moments or to finish it, and you wonder what took you away from it that made you stop. Okay, here's another one that I made. I made this one just a couple days ago. Okay, so this one I found the pattern online. It was free. It was on the internet. I'll post all the links below in that little description box. Okay, so this one was shaped like a stamp, and so there was a little line that went around it to make it a stamp, and I didn't sew that part. But I had this little tiny scrap of that polka dot fabric, left over. So I stitched the pattern, and then I added some black beads. It was just a string of beads I had in the bottom of my sewing box. So I just sewed those around it. I put a little love tag on the back. And I wanted to put it the silky, gauzy black ribbon. That's what I was thinking. And I didn't. I thought I had some of that, but I must have ran out. So I went to my jewelry box and I found this ribbon. And I just put it on there for the time being. And I never ever went to the store to... Okay, that's ridiculous. It's making me crazy. Okay, I never went to the store to get the black ribbon, so I've just left that little piece of jewelry on there. So, and I filled it with that fiber fill, so it's really tight, but it turned out really cute. So, okay, and this little bead, this little charm on the back, it has a little heart, and on the other side it says love. And I found those at Michael's. There was like a whole card of them, and it was... I think they were $2.99, and then I used my coupon. But I got all these little charms so that I could put them on different projects that I make. Or send them to somebody if I wanted to. I could send one of them in there. That'd be cute. Anyway, so that's a pretty good deal. I like it. And, I bought the silver color, but it came in gold or silver. So you had two choices. Okay, and then the other little small I have in my basket is this little charming thing. Isn't that charming and sweet? Kathy Haberman, she makes and gives us a free pattern every year to celebrate her anniversary. I think it's at the beginning of February. And so she always does a nice little, just a little small that you can make it into whatever you want. And she had some ideas of this twine at the top, and she had buttons, and the way she finished the back of hers is really cute. I just have the 12 fabric, but she put a whole bunch of these little flowers with buttons all over the back, and so it's like this really fabulous surprise when you turn it over. You're like, oh, you're kind of surprised, and it's wonderful. I just did I embroidered across here, and then I did French knots on the top and the bottom, and I think this was just a scrap of fabric that I had, and I changed the color. I used the color red that she suggested, but I changed the color on the top. So, and also, while I was doing it, I cut out an extra one at the same time. There you go. I have the fabric, I have the thread, I have the pattern. It's called Love is Kind, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. I promise. You're going to love it. I hope you'll love it. So, anyway. Okay. I have some finished. Those were my finishes. Well, it's kind of show and tell, kind of finishes. All right. This one is a finish that I did. It's called Love Never Fails. And it is a free pattern by the Primitive Hair. And you can just print it off their site. They have, I think it's a little tab at the top that says freebies or something like that. I'll link it below. Okay, so here's the pattern. They show you a picture. They give you a couple different color conversions. And originally I was going to stitch this as a little pillow and sew on a real key. But then I saw this, I had this in my stack of frames, and I got this, the sticker on the back said $4.99 on clearance. So I think I got it at Hobby Lobby, but it's a really substantial frame. I really loved it. And then when I put the piece, it like was made for it. It fit perfectly. Okay, so on the pattern, it says Love Never Fails 1881. Well, I changed the number to 1982 because that's my anniversary, our anniversary, and I thought it would look great. It does. I love it. I love the picture of it. Okay, and the other thing that I did with this, I used this one to practice. So I laced the piece, and then I put paper on the back. I learned to do the wire. I put the little eyelets here, and then on the corners I put the little bumpers. Now granted, the bumpers that we put on things, especially samplers, because when a piece lays right flat up against a wall, moisture can collect behind there. So that's why we have these little bumpers behind there to push it out of the wall just slightly so some air can get and circulate around it. Obviously, this is not an heirloom. This one doesn't need to do that. But I was really trying to do all the steps. I wrote my name, the date, the pattern name. Oh, you know, one of the things, Lindy Stitches, her name is Stephanie, and she's a wonderful designer. She has a really lovely sense of humor, and she's got 3 kids, and she's first time going to market. Anyway, one of the, she has a peacock pattern that's pretty cool, and some little bunny patterns that kind of caught my eye. So, but she has these stickers that she made, that she said that she's going to sell. So they're just small little stickers, and there's a place for your name, the name of the pattern, the date, and then I think there's a little special section at the bottom that's open. It says wishes, or no, special things. I don't remember what the word is, but anyway, then you can put who you made it for, or what fabric count, or whatever you're keeping, and then you just stick it on the back. So I'm going to buy some of those. I'm going to try to do all my pieces so I at least catch up with some of the ones that I know recently, and do the best I can for the ones before. So anyway, yeah, it's a free pattern. It took a couple nights. That's it, I think. It's really fun, really nice. A fun thing to have out for Valentine's Day. So speaking of Valentine's Day, I'm sure you can see that quilt behind me. Okay, that quilt is called Bali Love Song by Elisa Wilson, Elisa's Back Porch Designs, and it's a free pattern. So there's another Floss Tube gal. Her name is Pam, and her Floss Tube channel's name is Stitching Between the Lines. And she does some beautiful work. She is one smart cookie. She's one of those people that if she was your neighbor, you would think, oh, I have to bring my A game if we're going to play Scrabble and have snacks this afternoon. Yeah, she's really smart. She does beautiful stitching. Her stitching is gorgeous. And she has beautiful quilts. Really pretty quilts. So in her last, I believe it was her last Floss Tube, she talked about this free pattern. And so she gave the site, and I'll link her name below so that you can go and find the name of the pattern. All right, so it was using the Hoffman batik fabrics, and the quilt shop that I went to didn't happen to have that package of batiks. So I picked this one that had bright pinks and reds and oranges and really juicy colors, and I thought it was really a happy quilt. So I just got all the blocks pieced together last night, and then next I'm going to work on the piano border. That's what this is called. It's inset in the quilt. There you go. How about that? So then all the leftover stripes that you have, you sew them together and you put the border, a border inside, and then continue on. So, and you have one extra block, so at the end you can sew it on the back of your quilt and make that your label. So I did that. So I actually, maybe when I'm done doing this video, I'll go back to sewing it. It's really fun. It's a pleasure. It went together really fast, and it's super easy, and I've never bought all the fabrics cut before like this. Wait, where are we? Right over here. They come in a package already cut, 40 strips done, and then you buy one background fabric, 1 yard, and then that's what you use to put, this is called putting on point. So it has been machine pieced, but that's it. This is just the top so far. I haven't sandwiched it together to make a quilt yet. So, but it made me smile. It's so happy. It's really fun. It has such wild colors, and I don't know if I would have picked some of them, but together it's just dreamy. It's really fun, and it just, when you walk in this is my sewing room, and when you walk in here, just like really splash of color, and you just kind of feel warm and good when you see it. So. Anyway, it's a beautiful quilt pattern and really fast and easy. It makes a quilt size 56 by 56, so it's small. You can have it done in a weekend. I'm going to machine quilt it. But how fun, how thoughtful and nice that the designer would give the pattern for free. And wow, it was wonderful. And when Pam showed it, ooh, my heart started racing a little bit, and I was like, I think I want to do that. So it was a really fun treat for myself. I just went out and got the supplies and came home, and I didn't even have them put it in a bag. I came home and I started sewing. It was that easy. When those strips are already cut, you just start. It's really nice. Yeah, it makes you feel good that you can do that. So okay, and that banner, I was going to talk about it later, but I can talk about it right now. Okay, everybody loves those banners, and I love making them. I made that one. It is made out of chalkboard fabric. So each of the pieces is chalkboard that you can actually write with chalk on. I backed it with a piece of black felt. And I've erased the chalk. I've used it for different names for surprise. I wrote I keep count. When I gathered 1,500 eggs, I wrote 1,500 and tied it in a tree and took a picture, and kind of a celebration banner. I tied just scraps of fabric between it, different kinds of fabric. I mean, you don't have to, but anyway, super easy to do. You can buy that fabric at different craft stores, and it comes rolled up in a little tube, and you just pick out whatever size triangle you want to make and draw it with a pencil and cut it with scissors. It's pliable, so it's really neat that you can use it to draw with chalk on it. Okay, so if you want to make yours, super easy. I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. Right now. You don't even need a pencil. You'll remember it. That's how easy it is. Okay, first of all, you need to buy a package of this extra wide double fold bias tape. Okay, you've seen it in the fabric stores. They have it stacked up in a like a little holder, all colors, different widths. I think they even have some that's printed, so that could be fun. A little polka dot one would be cute. All right, so you take it out of the package, iron this flat so that you get all the little kinks out of it, and then also it relaxes this fabric so that it doesn't pucker up when you're sewing it. Anyway, that's a good tip. Okay, so then you cut out your triangles, whatever size you want. I'm going to show you here with these. Where'd my little board go? I'm going to show you with these. I made these. I'm going to make them for harvest time. They look like little candy corn. Kind of made me laugh. Okay, so I just striped the fabric myself and sewed it together. But all right, so what you do is when you buy this bias tape, it's folded in half. Here we go, and one side is shorter than the other side. So when you lay it down, you can definitely see if there's a piece. So you want the shorter side on the front of your triangle. So you just lay this piece of bias tape out, open it up, and put your pieces, and put your pieces of triangle in between the bias tape. Here, I'll show you. Okay, so you're just going to lay it on there and fold let me just do it and then I'll hold it up. Okay, so you just lay it in between there so it's nice and even, and then you can pin it. So you lay your triangle in between there, and then you pin it. So we have this long piece, and then you just start at the very end, and you take your sewing machine and you sew one seam all the way across. And you can back this. I use heat and bond, and I just put another piece of fabric on the back. You can do a totally different color. You could do candy corn on one side and St. Patrick's Day on the other side, and just flip your pennant border or celebration border. It can have happy birthday things. It could have Easter, and then sometimes I've taken Wonder Under and just cut out letters, and then I've made this for a baby shower, and then they can have it in the nursery or what have you. So anyway, then I leave this long tail, and then you can just you tie it up. You can tie it above your kitchen window, and I have it there sometimes so it looks like a little celebration party while I'm doing dishes, so it's kind of fun. It's wonderful. It's a really lovely gift to give for a baby shower, or tie it on the table, the cake table or something, with the baby's initials or their name, or you can do it in the nursery colors, or you could do it as a wedding shower gift and do it in their colors. I've used it over and over and over. I've hung it for, a fun party, or I just have it hanging up just for fun. But for Valentine's Day, I have this one up with the pinks and the reds and put our initials on it. So, true love. I don't know. Valentine's Day, it's crazy. He's way, way more romantic than I am. So I try. So anyway, if you have any more questions about it, seriously, that's your entire craft lesson. You buy one package of this extra wide bias tape that's, I think it's about $3 at the fabric store, and then use scrap fabric that you have and make a fun, happy celebration banner. Super easy, one stitch. That's it. You're done. But if you do have any more questions, just say something in the comments, and I promise you I'll help you. I promise. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I have a finish. You're gonna love it. Okay. Well, I don't know if you love it. I love it. Okay, so Vintage Animals by Jeanette Douglas. I finished it. We had a snow day, of course. We've had a couple snow days. So yesterday was a real snow day. So I just sat and stitched my last little bumblebee and last little flower. So it turned out really, really lovely. And I did the initial C and H for Cooper and Hunter, my little grandsons, and their last name. I did that with the W. The animals are really cute. That little hedgehog is hilarious. And the little hedgehog down on the very, very bottom, that one is done, the snout, I think they call it, is done over one. But all the animals are just charming and full of character and really cute. And okay, so this is the piece that I'm going to frame with a plastic frame and plexiglass instead of glass. And I'm going to ask the parents if they would please hang it about 3 or 4 feet from the floor up, so that the grandsons can look at it and point out the animals and say their ABCs. One of the things about our hobby is that sometimes we sell ourselves short, and it truly is a work of art. And some of our pieces are hours and hours and hours, and I really want our all of our grandchildren to appreciate the time and effort that goes into some of these pieces. When our children were little, we homeschooled, and we would take them to museums, of course, and we would talk about it beforehand and get them all ready, and they would look for certain pieces of art. And one time when we were in Belgium, we went to a church, I think it's called St. Jacob's in Brussels. I might have to look that up, sorry. Anyway, okay, so we went there specifically. On the altar at that church is a massive, huge marble statue of Mother and Child done by Michelangelo. So we wanted to go and see it, and of course we wanted the boys to see it. They were 6 and 9 at the time, and so we walked in the church and they took their hats off, and we discussed it beforehand so they knew what they were going to be seeing. And so we started walking down the aisle, and there was other people there, and you could see the statue. It was taller than I am, and it was huge. It was just stunning, and it took your breath away. It was magnificent. That was a masterpiece. It's definitely a masterpiece, and we're so lucky to be able to see it. But as we were walking down the aisle, the oldest son asked me a question, so I turned and bent down and was talking to him, and I answered his question, and we were fine. I turned back around, and the 6-year-old was gone. And I couldn't find him, and there was a lot of people, and I was searching, and then Mr. Wright started searching. We were a little bit panicked, and I happened to see him up towards the altar. He had kept walking, and so he walked right up there. He walked around the big red velvet place that you're not supposed to go past. We, as adults, we all know, ooh, stop, don't go past this velvet cord. And he just walked right around it. And he was going up the stairs. And he was up behind, on the actual altar where people were not supposed to be. And over on the side, I think it was like a choir loft where choir members would normally sit. There was 6 or 7 nuns sitting there, and they were in their full habits, and they were watching Gabriel as he walked around, and he never touched it. And I was just so panicked. By the time we got up there, I was like, ah, I needed to tell him to come back, but it was so reverent and quiet, and I wanted to be in the moment too. I wanted to see the sculpture. And one of the nuns caught my eye, and she just said, calm down. It'll be okay. Let him be. And she just stood up and let him look. And he was just like inches away from it. He never touched it. But he looked at it and went around the back. And you know, for a little 6-year-old, he just kept walking and walking. And he was just oblivious to everybody else around. And when he was done looking at it, the nun went over to him, and she said hello, but then she spoke English to him and asked him if he had any questions, and apparently he did. So he had several questions. He had his little notebook, and he had some questions, and she was smiling, and she answered every single question. So thank you. And they had quite the conversation. And when they were done, he shook her hand and said thank you, and walked back down the stairs and came over to us. And all of us and the people around us that we didn't know were quite dumbfounded that he was drawn to it. So art is an amazing thing to teach children about, and we have since they were little. Our children are taking their children. And look, when you go into a museum, it's even overwhelming for adults. So we started small. We would do a local museum or a local history museum, a very small one, and we would stay, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and we would talk about it before we went so that they knew certain pieces to look for or what have you. And then when they got a little older, when we went to museums, we would go for about 30 minutes, and then we went and talked to the people where you bought your tickets to go in and asked if we could leave for a few minutes and come back. That we wanted to take the kids outside so they could run around and play tag and get a drink of water and race back and forth or find a playground. And then we would come back for another 30 minutes so they could take in a little bit more and take their little notebooks, and they sketched some things, or they wrote some answers, or they wanted to talk about a certain piece when we got home, or check a book out of the library, what have you. So and then it just got longer and longer. And even as adults, you only have about 2 hours that you can absorb all that beautiful art that changes your world. It changes your life forever. It changes who you are. To be in the presence of some of those pieces of greatness, those are true masterpieces. And so for us to be able to see a Michelangelo sculpture was amazing. So I like to treat my cross stitch as a piece of art, and I would like the grandsons to have this at their level that they can see. However, I don't want their parents saying no all the time, so I want to put it in under plexiglass with a plastic frame. So when I get that done, I promise I will share that with you. Sorry, that was a really long way to go to say I love my piece, I finished, yay me. All right, okay, so hey, how about if I mention a couple people? I always feel like it's like name dropping, but I kind of want to. I want to tell you about some people. I already told you about Pam stitching between the lines. I told you about Lindy Stitches, Stephanie. She's the gal that she in that cross stitch piece, Anna Forrest Grew. She's the one that recharted the scripture verse for the center, and she gave it away for free to me. And so she's just so generous and kind, and she's just a smart cookie. She makes really clever, kind of mixes old with the new cross-stitch designs, and I wish her all the luck in the world. I hope when she goes to market, she just gets sold out and is blown away that everybody is cheering her on. So this is me, states and miles away, cheering her on. I hope she does really well. Okay, a couple other people that you might like to watch. Tranquil Stitches. Her name is Shirl. She lives in I think, Arkansas. She's got the best spirit. She has the best voice. She's just charming, and you want to go sit there and visit with her and have a cookie and listen to her talk. And she has wonderful stitching. She does amazing sewing. She's an all-around good girl. She's great. I love being in the same tribe she's in. She's a good cookie. Another gal's name is Apple. That's her name, and she just has the prettiest smile and these rosy cheeks, and it makes me think of an apple. I don't. Every time I look at her, I'm smiling. She has some lovely cross stitch pieces. You'll enjoy your time when you're visiting her with her. Dee's Delights. Her name is Diana. I think she's originally from New York, and then she moved down to Florida to be in the sunshine. So I kind of imagine myself having a glass of iced tea, looking at her cross-stitch pieces. Oh, I think she makes chocolate too. That could be interesting. Anyway, she just has a really happy spirit, and every time I watch her videos, I'm smiling, and by the time the video's over, I'm just walking around happy. I feel like I'm like walking with like better posture, and she's just a real lovely gal. It's just somebody you want to sit and talk with and talk about your stitching. Okay, Amy loves toads. Oh, she has some beautiful pieces. And she's really inspiring me to look about more cross-stitch pieces that have birds and animals, and she just has the sweetest spirit. She's so calm and collected, and you just want to take a deep breath, and fingers crossed she invites you over to her house so you can visit with her and maybe, have a cup of coffee, and I don't know, she's really nice, or I think she's nice. I don't know. I've never met her in person, but beautiful, beautiful stitching. And there's a real cute a quilted wall hanging on the back. So she has lots of talents. It's time well spent when you go hang out with her. So yeah, I highly recommend her. Helen at East Coast Crafter. Okay, she is she's so nice, and she speaks really clearly. You can understand her, you can hear her. She has really nice. Produces a lot of cross stitch. There'll be something for you. If you don't like what she's doing this week, check in next week. She has something new, and she finishes a lot of things. And she's really really considerate about teaching everybody and showing you or telling you where she got the things, or you really like her. She's definitely somebody you want to knock, go over to her house and hang out and see what she's doing. Okay, Stitching Ellis and Annie. Oh, they're mom and daughter. They're from England. I don't know what city. I don't really know much about England. I'm gonna have to learn. Okay, and they're so sweet to each other, and they're considerate and kind, and the young girl does most of the stitching and quilting, and her mom is I think she's a nurse and a midwife and a doula, and she takes care of all these babies, and holy cow, you definitely want her on your side if you're having a baby. She seems like the smart cookie. But she's doing Santa Claus stitching right now. I think it's a Santa Christmas stitching. Anyway, they're just really charming and lovely. And I mean, I love listening to their accent, of course. I wonder if they think I have an accent. Anyway, they're really lovely. It will be worth your time to spend some time with them, and really nice. And it makes you happy that there's people out there in the world, people in this tribe that are nice and good, and that you want to hang out with and be around. Okay, and Stitching in the Barn with Valerie. Oh, she's a charming gal. Just really, really lovely stitches and things. And she's multi-crafter. She did a blog video with a lady in her neighborhood that has over 100 samplers. It was a pleasure to look at. And one of the things that was really interesting about her, when she asked her the question of does she use fancy floss and what, and she said nope, just DNC. So it kind of gave me hope. Sometimes I get all jumbled up with, should I use DMC and should I use some fancy floss and should I use silk, and this gal made some beautiful, beautiful samplers, and she is moving ahead and using DMC. I think she said she knotted her thread too, so that's a whole other story that we might need to get into. But anyway, Valerie is a lovely gal. Lots of beautiful stitching, very inspiring. When you go there, I'm taking notes of, ooh, I might want that. I might want that. So that's really, she's a gem. She's a real gem. So I believe she's from Pennsylvania. So if you have time, you might want to jot her down so that you could check it out next time you're sitting and stitching. You'll enjoy it. Time well spent with any of those ladies. Definitely time well spent. Okay, one of the things I got in the mail. I got one thing in the mail. Yep. Okay, this is the Jane Patterson Scottish sampler. I love that there's some motifs on the outside of the border. I've never seen that before. Okay, so this is called Jane Patterson 1806. So mine is going to say Georgina Thompson 18 something. This is Georgina is my husband's grandmother. She came from Scotland. They settled in Quebec. In near the quarries, her granite quarries. Her husband was a craftsman in the granite world, and so they came to Quebec and they could have a job. So anyway, I would like to take this pattern and turn it into some kind of family stitching piece for my husband's family, and I told him and his family, okay, I'll stitch this. You all figure out the date. 18 something is her birthday, so we're gonna put it in there and maybe put some other family members' initials on here, and so I'm looking forward to doing this. And they suggest the thing. This is from Shakespeare's Peddler, Kitten Stitcher, and she had suggested wool threads, and I don't know. I think I did wool threads one time with the Riveris kit with the Lily of the Valley. I think that was wool, and so I haven't quite decided yet. I think I want to look at the colors first before I decide if I want to do wool or if I want to do some other thread. Oh, and when I ordered from Kitten Stitcher, she sent me a skein of floss from Anchor Floss for free. It's like this gorgeous raspberry color, so ooh, it kind of goes with a quilt. So now I want to try it. I've never tried that before, so that'll be good. That'll be good. So that's my only goodie that I got in the mail. So anyway, okay, so it's supposed to snow tomorrow night. More snow. When our kids were little and they wished that it would snow, I would say, oh, well, you have to wear your pajamas inside out to make sure that it snows. And that was the magical thing, to wear your jammies inside out. So maybe tonight I'll wear my pajamas inside out and see if we get some more snow. So that could kind of be fun. Okay, let me see. I want to go into what I'm grateful for and talk about a couple things. But before I get there, I'm going to talk about one. Before I end with my grateful things. Ooh, I'm kind of chatty girl today. Sorry about that. Oh, I just saw my pearls. Oh. That was one of my New Year's resolutions last year. When I came home from a funeral last year, I went to take off my string of pearls and broke it. And then to have pearls restrung, it's like $75 to $100. So my New Year's resolution, one of them was last year to take a class and learn to restring pearls with the knots in between each one. So I did. I'm wearing it. They haven't fallen off, so I guess I passed the class. Okay, before I get to the grateful things, I wanted to share one little thing that I'm doing. Okay, so I'm making these. They're these little toys. They're just little scrap yarn that I had left over. I'm making them for my granddaughters. And so they're like all different colors, whatever I had. And but each girl is going to get 2. Okay, so both my granddaughters are smarty pants. I mean, the little baby, I'm sure he's smart too. But the grandchildren are very smart, and they're good readers, and oh, good gravy. The oldest granddaughter is 8 years old. Her mom made this beautiful costume. She dressed up like a nurse. Violet Constance Jessup. And she was a nurse on the Titanic and the Britannic. Both ships, unfortunately, sank. So she's either really good luck or really bad luck. One of the two. Anyway, Zoe dressed up like her. The costume is great. And she did a PowerPoint presentation at her school about Violet. When I was 8 years old, I was playing with dolls and weaving pot holders with those little that little loop pot holder thing. I just like, wow. Okay, so needless to say, all the grandchildren are extremely smart. But as a family, we want to make sure that they're kind and considerate and really good friends. And so my part right now, for no reason, I'm just going to send them in the mail that each girl will get a little bag that has 2 owls, 2 little toy owls in it. One has their name on it, and one will say, for your BFF. Because I want them to get a little toy to play with, and then I want them to have to go take the other one to their girlfriend or their friend and say, my grandma made one for each of us. So I want to remind them to share and be kind. And so that brings me back to the little small that Kathy Hopperman made and offered to us for free. So I put together, as I was stitching it, I put together all of the supplies. So today, after this video is done, I'm going to cross stitch this piece and I'm going to make another one. And then I'm going to give it to one of you. I thought maybe, I've never did a giveaway before, so I don't really know how to do it. I'll try to learn that number generator thing. It sounds so fancy. Or I'll write your names and cut them and put them in a basket and draw a name. So there you go. That'll be my plan A and plan B. So I'm going to make another one of these. And then I thought maybe in the comments you could write one thing you're grateful for. I'm grateful for snow, or whatever you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be snow. I'm sure some of you on the East Coast, like my family, my brother-in-law, he is shoveling snow and he has a snow blower, and that guy is out there all the time having to shovel snow, so I don't think he's grateful for snow. He would not write that down, no. He's grateful for the Blackhawks, the hockey team. The Blackhawks is his team. He's grateful for hockey. He's not grateful to shovel snow. So anyway, okay, focus. Okay, so I'm going to make another one of these little smalls. And if you would like to be in the drawing, if you're not, I'll just end up with two smalls in my basket. I'm going to use the same fabric, and I'll try to do my very best job, my best work, and then you just put your name in the comment and write what you're grateful for, and then I could pick somebody. Let's see. How about like maybe 2 weeks from today, and then I'll pick somebody, and then I'll mail it to you. Maybe I'll add some little candy or something, because if you just get that, well, you might be happy. I don't know. So anyway, I thought, while I'm teaching the granddaughters to share with their friends, I thought, okay, I'll pick somebody in my group and I could share too. So I want to do it. I think it'll be fun. So this is my test one to see if anybody wants to be in the drawing, and then I need to mail it and see if someone gets it. So I'm pretty excited. That'll be good. So anyway. All right. So what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my dryer. Okay, my husband grew up in Quebec, and he said that they took their clothes, his mom took the clothes and put them on the line in the wintertime, and then they would freeze, and then they had to bring in these stiff cardboard jeans and towels and shirts, and they would bring them in the house and then lay them around or stand them up around where the stove was to kind of melt them a little bit so they'd bendy, so they could put them on the clothes dryer around their house. And he said it looked like a Chinese laundry with all this laundry drying everywhere inside the house. So I guess my mother-in-law didn't have a dryer when the kids were little. So I am very, very grateful for my dryer. Very grateful for my dryer. Okay. One of the things I'm grateful for is this highlighter tape. You're supposed to use it in books, so you can, instead of using a highlighter pen, which works great, but I use it on my cross stitch things. I think I got it on Amazon, and you can take it, it comes right off easy, it doesn't rip the paper, and you can just push it back on. You can keep track. Okay, okay, side note, that thing that says love right there, the letter E, okay, the letter E is even. This thing, my letter E is down below. Okay, so obviously this tape doesn't really work if you're... Okay. Anyway, this highlighter tape works perfect if you're finding the center of the piece of fabric, or if you're trying to keep track on a larger piece. Isn't that funny that I did that? I'm keeping it. I'm not taking that apart. I'm keeping it that way. All right, we're girlfriends now. Well, and guys, girls and guys. So, okay, I am really grateful for this community. The people have been so kind and considerate. And there's one person named Angie. If you go to her Floss Tube, it's called Bubmie. And she's really, really nice. She's got a great smile and a great spirit. I think she has 4 or 5 boys. Grown, like 18 to 25 or something. It's like, wow. Wow, she still has energy left to make a floss tube and work full time. And she does beautiful stitching. And she found a teensy bit of time to send me a card. Isn't that nice? It's my first card on Floss Tube. Isn't that nice? I told her I'm going to take it with me to the nursing home when I move in. I'm just going to be holding this card, not letting it go. It's dated 2019. All the family, all the nursing staff, everybody will say is, "Who's Angie? Why does she keep holding this card? Why won't she let this card go?" And I'm telling you, I am so grateful for meeting new friends, and thank you so much for sending it to me. I really appreciate it. That was really thoughtful, and it made me so happy. I've just been like carrying it around. I'm like carrying the dining room, and now here I am in the sewing room, and I had it standing up on the kitchen counter for a while. So it's really nice. It makes you feel all, I don't know, all good inside that somebody would send this to you. And the comments, I'm so grateful for the comments. And okay, I wouldn't say this to anybody else, but I'm pretending like you're sitting here having coffee with me. Kathy Haberman said, "What a nice little stitch I did when I put it on Instagram." And I was like, "Excuse me, I have to go do a cartwheel and then I'll come back." I was like so excited that she said something. That made me blush, made me so happy. And then I posted a picture, I shared a picture on Instagram of my vintage animals. And everybody said nice things, and they were so complimentary, and it was really fun. And Jeanette Douglas, she commented, that's the designer. She said, lovely. Kind of took my breath away for a minute. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, my cheeks got all rosy, and I was so excited. So that was fun. Okay, two other things that I was grateful for. In the mail, my niece, she sent me these slippers. She crocheted these slippers. She did a really good job. And it's really even stitches, and it's so, oh, dog hair, sorry. And they're so pretty. And one of the things that's so nice, they fit me. Slippers never fit me. I borrow Mr. Wright's, I ruin his, I ruin socks. I have big, beautiful feet, and slippers never fit. She made this just for me, and I was so happy, and it was so nice, and there was no reason. It was just such a nice surprise in the mail. So she did such a good job, and the colors are so pretty, and they're really warm, and they fit. It's wonderful. I'm so happy. Okay, and my last thing, gosh, I kind of chitter-chatter today. Sorry about that. Okay, maybe you could like watch half and then cut it and go do something else. Go outside, run around, play tag, and then come back and watch the last part. Okay, so this last thing that I have is really cool. I'm super grateful for it. Okay, it's this piece of plastic. I bought it on Amazon. Okay, so when you're taking a warm bubble bath and reading your library book or magazine, and you're in the bathtub with lots of bubbles and smells beautiful with candles going, and the water drains out and it gets cold and you get shivery and you have to turn the water on and you have to turn the water off. Well, if you have this, once it's full, you put it over the drain, like the extra drain thing, right underneath the faucet. There's a little extra spot where if the water got too high, then it would drain, like emergency, it would go in there. So don't use this for your kids, because they would put it on there and then the bathtub would overflow. But anyway, when you're taking your bath, there you go, you can see it. it covers that thing up so the water doesn't drain away and the water doesn't get cold. It just stays at the level that you want it, and it stays warm. You can stay in there until your fingers are pruny. So it's the best. It's just a couple dollars on Amazon. I'll link that below. So anyway, thanks a lot for visiting with me today. Oh my gosh, I forgot one thing. I just saw that yarn. Okay, can you stay with me just one more minute? Oh, I totally forgot. It's my work in progress. Holy Toledo. Last time you saw me, I got this big bag of yarn, and this is what I've done with the yarn. I've been working on this blanket. I got to row 46. Can you see it? I hope you can see it. It's super fun. It's really neat. And it's really big, and it can cover you up. So, but I did have to take like a little bit of a break. Yeah, it was... My arms are getting a little tired, I must say. It was kind of crazy, but yeah, it's so pretty, and the colors are gorgeous. I hope you can tell how pretty this is. Oh, I can kind of see it through the holes in the crochet. So anyway, I'll keep working. I'm on row 46. I think there's 84 rows. So anyway, I got inspired by Magnolia Baby on Instagram, and it's just really a fun project. It's from Attic 24. It's called Sweet Pea Blanket. So, and it's a crochet along, so you get to keep track of what everybody else is doing, and everybody inspires you, and so it's really fun. So, ooh, I'm so glad I remembered to share that with you because I'm super happy. I'm kind of proud. It's my first big girl blanket. I've made a couple of baby blankets, but I've never made a, wrap up, watch a movie kind of blanket. So. Yay, that makes me happy. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Happy Valentine's Day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. We'll chat soon. Bye.